So, you guys, do you remember the viral moment at Bishop Marvin Winans' church and the member who was chastised publicly in the church and now pretty much all over the world over her donation, and then later came forward defending the church, only to now say she felt pressured into doing it? So, I'm not surprised by this, honestly, but let's break this down because this is exposing something deeper than just one embarrassing moment. This is exposing this culture of control, image management, and the politics of the pulpit, or some may call it pimping in the pulpit. So let's get into it. What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here and being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. So we remember the viral clip. Bishop Marvin Winans calling out this woman, Roberta McCoy, for giving $1,235 to be exact, instead of the $2,000 he said God told her to give. And she said, I'm going to work on the other 800. Well, definitely a lot of people online were outraged about it and talking about it. And this has just exposed a lot about this manipulation, church abuse, and the megachurch ego problem. And some would say even more so in the black church, because I'll be honest, I've been to different types of churches in my lifetime. Money never really is an issue in the white churches. And some may say, well, it's because the white people, they got it like that. It's possible. But they don't make a huge like display of giving. Like, seriously. And I haven't been to every church, so I could be wrong. Of course, there are always some exceptions to the rule. But then we saw Roberta on the news defending the church, Marvin Winans explaining the situation. And she said she wasn't embarrassed, she wasn't hurt, and that everyone was just misunderstanding the moment. No, we weren't misunderstanding anything. It was definitely as we saw it. Because now she's speaking again, and this time she's saying she was pressured to make the apology video to protect the church's reputation. She says the church leadership told her the video was making the ministry look bad. They were letting it be known that she needed to clear up the bishop's name, and she felt guilted and pressured into defending the behavior she still didn't feel was right. So, before we get into where she stands now, let's just go a little bit back in time. So, we're on the Sandra Rose blog. This is the video that went viral right here.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Just humiliating. And I did a video recently where I showcased how there was someone that gave $1.50 plus another $1.50. Listen, these churches, they got it twisted. But let's just go ahead into this news clip here.
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that. So I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call. And that's all that was.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013 and has given faithfully over the years and will continue to do so.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Child, playing it again for effect. And the thing about it is, she claimed to the news station that he privately apologized to her, but he publicly embarrassed her. So if she could come on the news to publicly defend him, why didn't he publicly apologize to her? So now she's speaking out. And whether she spoke out against what happened or not, I knew that something in that situation just wasn't right. And I knew that she was pressured to do that. I didn't feel that that was something that she wanted to do of her own accord. So here we are in present day, and she did a post on Facebook, and it's pretty long. I'm going to read the entirety of it, but before I read it, I just want to say this is one of the reasons why I don't like Facebook. I don't do Facebook. People do these essay posts, and then if someone writes something that someone doesn't agree with, then they're writing these essay responses and people are going back and forth. Ain't nobody got time for all that. Okay? But I'm just saying. But she wrote this post and she said, "It's like I'm turning invisible now. I'm no longer useful to them. I served their purpose. I was only damage control. They wanted to protect the name, protect the brand. Their calls of concern has stopped when the media storm stopped. I see that with wide open eyes now. They turned on me. They blame me. Now it's all my fault. They say I'm the one that owes Pastor Winans an apology. Exclamation mark. They say I need to grow up. I need to be an adult about this. My heart is broken. I'm fading away. My big heart for people is shrinking into a shallow heartbeat." Now, I'm not going to read all the stuff in the middle because it's how she feels, and I'm not going to say it's not a big deal, but it is a lot of fluff and I don't want to read all that. So I'm going to put this link in the description box if you want to read the post, but she said right here, "Did you see the empty seats on Sunday at 10:45? People are appalled and tired of being mistreated in the churches. Do you know what would bring people back to church in great numbers? I think seeing the human side of a pastor. I think if they saw a pastor who was not prideful, but who was humble, like Jesus, and just said he was sorry for the offense, I think that would bring a lot of people back to churches all over the world. I, Roberta McCoy, stand in faith and give this letter in unity to those who never receive your apology for church hurts. I'm sorry." 4 exclamation marks. I don't even know if that's going to bring people back because I feel like people already see a lot of these churches, these brick and mortar places for what they really are. And they just don't want to be involved in the shenanigans. This is not a shock to me because I've said this before on some previous videos. There are levels to cults. Not every cult is extreme. Not every cult is where you're leaving everyone behind, family behind, whatever, who don't believe like you believe, and you're following some person who claims that they are God or they are Jesus or they are whatever, and you need to follow them, and you're going and living in some hole in the wall in the middle of America where the man is screwing everybody in the camp. Or it's not all not all cults are extreme. Some churches are cult like, and you have been indoctrinated and you've been in it so long where you're feeling like Roberta feels when you finally wake up, if you ever wake up, and some do wake up. And this is why she's saying a lot of the things that she's saying in this post right here. Can you still see me? I was Roberta McCoy. Who am I now? Can you find me? Do you see me? Where am I? My beautiful soul has been replaced with this broken soul. Where am I? This is why she's speaking like this, because she was indoctrinated in this church for the years that she was indoctrinated in it. And I believe it took this public exposure to really break her to say, look, girl, this ain't it. Like, this ain't even God. You can worship God and not be involved in places like this. So I saw this. I saw this in the comment section. Like I said, this is a Sandra Rose blog. And this is from one of my favorite episodes of Martin. Martin, one of my favorite shows. Well, at least like the first through the third season. But anyway, this was this was when Pastor Leon Lonnie Love, or Reverend Leon Lonnie Love, was a church pastor. But anyway, I want to play a little bit of this clip. I'm going to pause it for copyright purposes because, yeah, you know how they can be with that. But anyway, this honestly, this is of course comedy, but this is how a lot of these churches are when it comes to the money. You go to some of these churches, they're laying hands on people, people are falling out. They are not feeling a thing. You hear me? They are not feeling, child. It's a trip, and the money is the main thing. This day of giving and him going on the news, it was about her being in the wrong line. Well, that's not what it sounded like when you were enough of that, but Martin is crazy. But listen, guys, I am not shocked that she's coming out to say what she's saying right now. And I'm actually glad that she is, because when I saw the news clip, I was like, girl, this ain't it. We already know what it really is. And he got this big offering from Tyler Perry after that moment. So I'm quite sure that him talking about the big money that he received after the fact, it has added to a lot of the feelings that she has right now about feeling discarded, and it, you know, her not being important anymore because she already served their purpose pretty much, because that public embarrassment that she received was something that gave his church the opportunity to receive even more money, and saying that they collected over what, $600,000 since then. That's nuts.
That when the devil went crazy, folks started calling up from other states saying, I got to give on this.
So Tyler Perry donated 100K. Other people were given more money and saying that the devil went crazy. So I guess the public, the general viewing public, is the devil. And we went crazy because we were reacting to what we were seeing.
That when the devil went,
I just I'm just disgusted, you know, with this. But I'm glad that she had the nerve to even come forward and say, you know what, this is what it really is, and I'm hurt. I was pressured, I was coerced, and now that I've served their purpose, they have no use for me anymore. And it wasn't even a real apology. And this is what happens when so-called loyalty is valued more than transparency, and when the church's image becomes more important than the people and their dignity. This isn't about integrity, and this isn't even about attacking the church. What they're doing is not about integrity at all. And it's about addressing what happens when people are made to feel small in the name in doing these things in the name of God. And the truth is, God doesn't need a PR team, and he doesn't even need the money. The Bible says that God is the creator of the world. So if he created the world, why do we need to give him our money? The money is used for access to resources here in this earth. God has no use for that. So if the behavior wasn't wrong, no one would have had to scramble to cover it up, contact the news, explain the situation. None of that would have been necessary. So I'm glad she's exposing it. I'm hopeful that she's not going back to that church because that would be wild. I mean, really. But she's putting it out there, and I'm glad that she has. So I want to know what you guys think about it. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.